heard the news a few weeks ago that Google is no longer deprecating third-party cookies. What does that mean? Well, third-party cookies are the way you can track user behavior across the internet. It's the way a website can recognize you and keep you logged in when you visit again and again, or the way Google Analytics keeps tabs on your clicks and scrolls and behavior when you return. It's also what powers a lot of the way conversion tracking and audience building works for paid ads. For years, Google has been warning us that they are removing third-party cookies from Chrome, which is the most widely used web browser in the world by a long shot. After delaying and delaying and delaying, Google has given up and third-party cookies are here to stay. Now, I don't mean to rain on your parade, but you shouldn't be too excited about this. First of all, third-party cookies are gone from Safari and Firefox, so that's 20% of browsers already not using them, meaning 1 in 5 of your potential customers. That means that second, third-party cookies are not as effective as they used to be, and if you've been running display remarketing, for example, over the last couple of years, you've seen that. Even with Chrome keeping cookies, you're going to need to implement contingency plans to get the best possible return on your investment in Google Ads. And third, Google can change their mind at any time. That's why I'm interviewing Ameet Khabra today about 5 tools you should be using in 2024 to maintain accurate conversion tracking and audience building. Ameet is the founder of HopSkip Media, a digital marketing agency specializing in Google Ads, Meta Ads, and SEO. She's also the AdWords girl on all the major social media platforms. Unlike many PPC practitioners, myself included, by the way, she both understands and can implement all the tracking needed to keep your ads running smoothly, cookies or no cookies. Now, I will say we recorded this interview a few weeks ago, ended the call, opened up LinkedIn, and saw the announcement about third-party cookies staying in Chrome. So I edited out the part of the interview where Ameet talked about the deprecation. Sorry, Ameet, but I've kept the absolutely stellar walkthrough she provides of the 5 key tracking technologies you need right now. Let's get into the nitty-gritty with Ameet Khabra for Inside Google Ads, episode 29, Conversion Tracking. There are a lot of tools and jargon that we've been hearing about over the last couple of years, which make it very confusing as a Google Ads practitioner. So I'd love if you could break some of those down for us. The first one is consent mode. Sounds like a good thing, consent. What is consent mode and what do PPC practitioners need to do?
So when a user comes to your website, they're basically presented a banner. I believe it's towards the bottom of the screen where it just basically asks for permissions in terms of what cookies you can use or what data you can collect. So consent mode communicates that user choice back to Google Ads. And then it adjusts, obviously, the behavior accordingly. So if the user says, no, I don't want to give my information to Google Analytics will still technically fire, but it won't be using cookies to collect that anonymous data. So then at that point, we're able to kind of see part of what happened. We don't get to see the full picture at that point. So being able to put in the consent mode, the reason why it's so much more important now is that it's really just giving that user that power back, really, and respecting their privacy and giving them more control. So that's why I feel like it's a bigger push, and I will start seeing more and more websites utilizing that, especially in North America where it's not technically mandatory. And that's really just because we want to make sure that we're respecting the privacy, but also giving them control back. So if you're looking to implement consent mode on your website, it might involve working with a developer team, or you could use a consent, like a consent management platform. So you basically just integrate it onto your website, and I feel like the process on that one's a little bit simpler. It can get a little bit more complicated, which is why a development team would be needed. So it depends on like the size of your website, how complex you really want to go with it.
What are enhanced conversions and what do practitioners need to do?
So enhanced conversion basically uses hashed first-party data. So it basically just protects the user's information while improving conversion tracking. So using this version of hashing, especially for conversion tracking, securely like matches the user to the action. So that's why enhanced conversion is such a big hot topic right now, is that we'll actually be able to kind of go back and identify not identify exactly who the user is, but take the user, we know what their actions were, and then we're able to actually utilize that data and actually make decisions moving forward. So it's a really yeah, if I had to choose which one to do out of all five, enhanced conversions is number one.
And now enhanced conversion sounds a little bit similar to offline conversion track.
Yeah, so offline tracking is basically a way to bridge the gap between online advertising efforts with real world business outcomes. So let's say somebody saw your ad, they interacted, did this whole thing, came into the store and actually made a purchase or maybe even called on the phone because a lot of businesses close deals on the phone as well. It'll help you actually match those things back up. So many businesses, especially like physical locations, are going to rely on this much more heavily, I feel. And that's just because they want to understand, well, I'm hoping that they want to understand how digital actually delivers real world like results right at their door. And then the second part of it is that it links ads to that specific action. So this feature, it provides a clear like connection between your digital marketing efforts and then what's happening outside. So if we wanted to talk about, let's say, when someone clicked on your ads and then they end up making a purchase in store a week later, those two things will match up really, really well because we're able to kind of pull that information back in and then get a true understanding of what our ROI or return on our ad spend, or however you want to measure that, kind of actually looks. And then we also have a holistic view of what the customers are doing, which is also incredibly important as well. So by integrating both online and offline, we're able to kind of have a better understanding of what that customer journey looks like. And that's something that like some ad accounts have, some ad accounts don't have. And I'm actually really excited about this side of things just because like now we're going to have to be pushed to do this. And I think our advertising is just going to naturally get to a better level because of that, because we're able to kind of go back and be like, okay, well, yeah, we drove this one phone call. 2 weeks later, it closed. Now we have that information coming back to tell us that. So then we're able to prove case with our clients, but then also it also gives them a little bit more trust. Like for me at my agency, like the biggest thing is how much do they trust us? And if it's a high level, then I know that I'm doing my job correctly. If it's a low, then I need to go back to the drawing board.
And so mechanistically with offline conversion tracking, I know it's also often used with leads, for example. And so some information will be captured from the website, kind of submitted when the lead goes through, that's sent through to a CRM, which although a CRM is often an online tool, it's offline to Google Ads. And then information can be sent back later when the user converts, if they convert. And so for someone who's in a lead gen business, they could do that. Or they could do enhanced conversions, which again hashes that first party customer data at the point of conversion. So, like, which one should a lead gen business use? Do you use both?
I would actually recommend both if you have the capability of doing so. So being able to get that information, especially after that person has left the website, I think is incredibly important. Like, yes, we're able to hash that data and we have that, and that's great and fantastic. But I want to know what happened. Did it actually close? And OCT is the only way to for us at this point to actually really figure that out, unless we're actually having these conversations with our clients. But then oftentimes we can't put that data back into ads ourselves, right? Because we can't take an individual entry and be like, here, this worked, right? Like it needs like that constant flow. So really at this point, if you have the capabilities, I would say both. If you don't have the capabilities, I would go enhanced conversion.
And so, what I'm hearing, let me know if the summary is accurate, is that with enhanced conversions, at the moment of online conversion, we're sending first party customer data in a privacy safe way with that. Whereas with offline conversion, the purpose is actually to take some things that are happening post online conversion and tie it back to when that online conversion happened. Is that an accurate summary?
Yeah, I would say so.
Woo! All right. I'm learning a lot.
I'm so glad.
So let's keep going then. I know there's another potential piece to the puzzle called server-side tagging. What is that? What do we need to know about it?
It most definitely is the most advanced strategy out of all five. So you will most definitely need a developer team to help you with that. First, that it actually significantly improves our security. So moving all data collection to a server reduces the risk of sensitive information getting interpreted or like manipulated. in the user's browser, which is obviously something that's concerning for most users. The second is that the overall performance is actually significantly better. So we actually might be able to, like some people, if they've been in the industry for long enough, will remember when GTM was introduced to everybody, right? We went from a life where we had to individually put these codes onto the website, which was weighing it all the way down. And then when GTM was introduced, we were like, holy smokes, like this is the most amazing thing on the planet, right? Like I can put 100 codes on here and it'll still work the same. Like it's not going to bog down my site. Server tracking is very similar to that. So basically it reduces the amount of processing that needs to happen on the client side. So when you implement that server side tracking, it actually helps with your pages being pages loading faster. The user experience is obviously significantly better. There's a lot of upsides to server side tracking. And then the third is that it actually minimizes the exposure of how much user data is in the browser as well. So this are not, it'll help obviously with the privacy side of things. That's the biggest concern that really anybody has at this point, but it also help with ad blockers really at this point. So the browser will have limitations on the cookies and the local storage, which will actually help with like just how much information is actually being exposed. So that's, yeah, those are the three benefits that I really love in regards to server side tracking. But again, it is more advanced. So a developer team will be needed. If you have it run a smaller site, then you might be able to kind of do a step-by-step by using like YouTube or other tutorials out there. But yeah, if you have the means, I would highly suggest getting a developer team.
And then we're going from the most complicated to what I would think is the least complicated for number 5, and that is a customer list. So tell us, okay, we have a customer list. What do we do with it to help our Google Ads perform better?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people will use customer list and first party data interchangeably. So I just want to make a note of that just in case somebody goes, well, what's first party data? Well, it's customer lists. So utilizing customer lists actually allows us to, I feel like that's where a lot of the personalization is going to be a little bit better for us, at least, especially on the retargeting side of things, is utilizing the customer data. So you can use surveys, if point of sale system that actually collects that information in your stores, or if you make people sign up for an account on your website, like all of that is first party data. You actually have like their name, their number, their phone number. That's all information that they gave to you. So it's first party. This approach essentially ensures that the privacy is still there while still enhancing the experience and the audience targeting. So we're able to sit there and be like, well, we already know who our customers are. Now we want to just retarget to them. But it also helps with like segmentation and stuff like that. So if we actually look at it and go, okay, well, this person typically buys shirts, this one typically buys blue t-shirt, I don't know, blue shoes or something like that. We can segment those lists out and actually put in that personalization that we're kind of losing by utilizing that first party data. And then we can also create like lookalikes and stuff like that around that to a certain degree. It's kind of haphazard now. So it's always like a quotation mark where it's like lookalikes, but kind of not really. That can also further go out and find people who look like the people who are on your first party list.
Whether that's through a feature like optimized targeting or lookalikes in a demand gen campaign, or just a signal that a smart bidding algorithm is using in the background of one of your campaigns to help figure out what to bid for the new users it encounters, for example.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So we have consent mode, enhanced conversions, offline conversion tracking, server-side tagging, and customer lists, ranging from as simple as uploading customer list into Google Ads, and it takes care of the hashing and privacy from there, all the way up to something like server-side tagging, where you're likely going to want to work with a developer, and it could be quite complicated, but it's going to bring both privacy benefits for your user and site speed and other improvements for you as a business. This is a lot of stuff. What should people prioritize? Like, what do you think would make, if someone has none of this implemented on their website and you were advising them, lacking other context, I know it probably depends, where would you recommend they focus first, and where would you recommend they focus second?
First, I would go first party data. Second, I would do enhanced conversions. I think
Cool.
it's really, really important to start collecting that first party data, and even internally, at HopSkip, we sit around talking about it. And we're just like, okay, well, what could we implement? So recently we have a client who works with toys. So I was like, quizzes, that makes logical sense. Let's do quizzes, get him to put up quizzes. You would get an email address. That email sends out like, these are the top 3 that you need to go for or something like that. And then at the very least, we continue that conversation with that potential client, even if they didn't make a purchase. And then we move off to enhanced conversion. So really for me, I think I don't think this will ever change. I will always advocate for people getting email addresses, getting that first party data. It's something that I've been saying for years now at this point. That's always been like a big one where I'm like, if I can get your email address, every platform could go down and we're fine. Like as long as I have a way to contact you, right? So it's kind of one part of it's third party cookies are being removed, and the other half is just like this is a really good business practice just in general. So that's where I would start and then move into enhanced conversions just because it is the easier of the 5.
Got it. Well, thank you so much, Ameet, for joining us today on the podcast and sharing your expertise. If folks want to learn more about you, where is the best place for them to find you?
I am the AdWords girl everywhere on the internet. I know that it's called Google Ads now. I have to always say this caveat. I know it's Google Ads. I just sentimentally cannot let go of AdWords. So it will forever be AdWords girl. I tried to play with other names. It just did not work. So, and then also I run an agency called HopSkip Media. So you can find us at hopskipmedia.com as well.
Well, the AdWords girl and the Google Pro signing off here today. Thanks again so much, Ameet.
Thank you for having me.
The links to everything Ameet mentioned are in the episode description. I'm featuring 2 more guests over the next 2 episodes to share their expertise on topics that fall outside of my expertise. To make sure you don't miss a thing, sign up for the Inside Google Ads episode transcripts at free.jyll.ca. That's JYLL.ca. I'm Jyll Saskin Gales, and I'll see you next time with my next guest inside Google Ads.